Have you ever wondered what was out there in the night sky? Stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you ever heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there's life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu, or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? What if tomorrow you were on the fringe? Welcome to another episode of On the Fringe. I'm Philip.
And I'm Mark.
And tonight we've got a new thing we're trying. I mean, I guess it's been new for the last, month or so. We're kind of going to do the Weird News Wednesdays. I think that's going to be the title of it. We want to do some other stuff. We got some ideas. We're changing things up. Trying to get a feel for it. But always remember, your opinion don't count and your feelings don't matter. So there we go.
Wait.
We'll get that disclaimer out.
That sounds like work.
It does. But no, tonight we just plan a fun show. We're going to talk again, like I said, Weird News Wednesdays, and then we're going to kind of roll into the Halloween origin story. I mean, it's become really commercialized, no different than Christmas, but it's not like they're shoving it down your throat. I mean, they get a month, maybe a little over, for Halloween, whereas Christmas gets pretty much all stinking year long anymore. But
That's true.
Anyway, first things first, do us a favor, go check our website out, whatiftomorrowmedia.com. We got all affiliates over there. We've got Duke Cannon, we've got My Patriot Supply, we have Conflicted the Game, and we got merch over there. I think I'm missing EMP Shield.
Yeah.
You always figure as many times that we do this, when we do it twice a week, you think I would remember, but I don't.
Oh, hell, I can't even remember my own name half the time.
Calm down, Grinch. Who's that? I better pull Facebook up so I can see it. Oh, that's my wife. She knows I do not like.
She hit herself. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel.
I think she'd go farther than calling me a heel. So.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
This is family radio. Well, hell, no, it's not.
Yeah, but also still up. We're planning for. I'm all screwed up. October 30th, the day before Halloween, we are going to have we're planning a big panel. We're all going to share kind of Halloween stories, our experiences with the paranormal. We may have some live music on. Just kind of get together and hang out. Mark and I, we're talking about doing some readings, probably beforehand, and just play on the show. Maybe some Edgar Allan Poe or H.P. Lovecraft, something short, something fun, just to kind of get us all in that mood for trick-or-treating. Just because it's fun, and to me, that's what the holiday is. I mean, I wish it was a federal holiday that would let us off work. And,
oh, yeah.
And doing the research on the Halloween story, they were talking about today, like Spain, they get the day off for Halloween. I'm like, hey, Jess. And but they get the day off. I'm like, man, why can't we get the day off? Yeah. I'd love to have it, love to have the day off for Halloween. It'd be fun, go out and enjoy the day. And this time of year, I just love this time of year anyway, because it gets dark a little bit earlier and it's a little more spooky. But anyway, we're going to jump right into the Weird News Wednesday. And if you all can hear it, can you tell me if that music is too loud, if it's blowing us out? I'm still trying to get a feeling for the settings with the background music.
It's pretty loud on my end, but I like it.
Yeah.
See me dancing around here. Feels like we're on
We are
an
gonna-
episode of the Munsters.
Yeah, kind of loud. Okay. Before we get out, I don't want to blow us out here.
We're both pretty
That was
loud.
pretty
It's
loud.
not going to matter.
All right, Jess said it sounds good. All right, we got to adjust it. But my first story, and I find it kind of interesting. I want to share this up here. It's off the LAD Bible. Woman finally realized, this is from the 24th of September. Woman finally realizes why her bathroom walls were bleeding. When you walk into the bathroom for the first time in the morning, you don't often expect to see a blood-like substance pouring from the walls. So, well, this one TikToker was shocked to find the red liquid dripping from her bathroom cabinet onto the walls, like something you'd expect to see in a horror film. Lexi Chidester, a college counselor from California, initially dismissed the odd substance as a stain caused by her messy brother. However, Lexi became more suspicious when it continued the next morning. The eerie stain had doubled in size, and the wall was well and truly bleeding. The counselor decided to investigate the horror-like mystery herself by performing an at-home mold test kit, and also spoke to a plumber. She took to Instagram to share her findings to over 80,000 followers on the social media platform. One video and on the bleeding wall scandal has over 62 million views on her page. In the video, Lexi asked followers what they think that has happened, as she fears it may be something supernatural. I can't even read tonight. Followers flocked to the comments to give their opinions. One person commented, "Time to move." A second one added, "Your house is on its period." The third one jokingly said, "Your bathroom is ready for Halloween." Meanwhile, a fourth said, "You need to leave. Satan is coming for you." Lexi spoke on her bizarre horror story and detective skills to Need to Know. "I filmed the video to get someone's opinion on what it was and what to do because I didn't understand what it was. At first, I didn't think much of it, but when it came back and doubled in size the next day, realizing it wasn't a spill of something, I laughingly thought, that's not normal." An amateur detective continued, "After talking with my family and ruling out everything it could be or couldn't be using deductive reasoning, the only place really unexplored more closely was the cabinet itself." In a follow-up clip, Lexi explained that they put the cabinet back in the wall. She noticed that there were pieces of metal that were overlapping with more of the coagulated blood in the corner. In order to get to the bottom of this mystery, Lexi and her brother used pliers to peel back the metal when they discovered the substance was coming from inside the metal. Finally, the mystery was solved as Lexi discovered it was simply caused by rust. Lexi added it was explained to be that when condensation mixed with years of rust and no ventilation, my bathroom doesn't have a fan, can cause rust in cold metal to liquefy. Something I didn't know before all this. The wall has been left with a light pink staining, but otherwise it's fine. So I can see where that might unnerve somebody.
That might be a little disconcerting.
What's up, Sonny? How you doing, brother? Yep. All right, you got one, Mark?
I've got one. It's got video. This one comes from Channel 2 WESH in Orlando. Orlando toddler goes viral for her friendship with a creepy doll. Let's see if I can get this on here. And dun, dun, dun.
All right.
Here we go. You guys can see that? All right.
Yeah.
We're going to play that. Well, we're going to get an ad. All right. Enough with the ad.
You love her. Why do you love her so much?
This is the story about an adorable 3-year-old Orlando girl and her beloved doll.
Oh, it's creepy looking.
That is
Here
a
it is no
bad doll.
ordinary 3-year-old,
Yeah.
The doll close to the camera.
and this is no ordinary doll.
Oh my God.
It's terrifying.
It all started with your classic pre-holiday stop at a Halloween store.
Oh my
Briar
God.
spots the doll on a shelf.
And she immediately has to have it. She's like, I'm its mama. It needs me.
Oh
I
my
love it."
gosh.
What did you say? And you cried.
Look at the one in the background.
I know it.
This child,
Briar
she's our
named her
people.
doll Chloe. Briar's mom calls her Creepy Chloe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that creepy Chloe is stealing my soul while I sleep.
And their spin into the Twilight Zone began. First stop, Disney.
Oh my
There,
God.
Uncle gave the happiest place on earth an oddly refreshing double take.
We were eating breakfast at the Grand Floridian, and the manager came out. And this pastry chef that loves everything spooky. She has to see this.
Decked out as a princess, Creepy Chloe inspired the chef to fashion a special cupcake in her
Oh my
honor.
gosh.
At the Haunted Mansion, recognizing the pair as kindred spirits, staff members whisked the family out of the line and gave them a special backstage tour.
And they took us through a door and they popped us right out onto the ride. And I had no idea that it would get the reaction that it got. It was insane.
Floored by the reaction, Mom posts their story on social media, the post goes viral, and now they're international spooky superstars.
And
Oh my gosh.
like we had an interview with Inside Edition last night, and the Drew Barrymore show called me the other day, and the New York Times.
I might call
the
'em.
Washington Post.
What's the moral of the story? Well, even though Briar's love for the doll with the evil eyes, scaly head, a complete misfit, makes no sense to most.
Oh yeah, you want to show her how you rock her to sleep? No, I do this. Good night. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
We see through her loving eyes and it makes all the sense for little Briar. And that's the lesson here.
You're such a good mama.
No. Nope.
Michelle Reed of Rush 2 News.
All right.
Yeah, that's a no. That's a no.
I told you it was a good one.
Chris said, and I thought Jackie was creepy. Guess I'm not familiar with that.
It was a doll.
Oh, okay. Then my wife said, that's creepy as hell as a parent. You can say no. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. You can tell the girl no. I mean, I don't care if she's crying or not.
Well, apparently she has a penchant for it because there was another one in the background.
Yeah, I know it. I kind of wonder if it's one of those things that, because you hear parents letting their kids watch scary movies and all sorts of stuff like that, So I kind of wonder if it's one of those things where, it's just kind of the home that she's growing up in, if they're kind of into that thing. Not saying it's good or bad, but there's some things that I've heard of people letting little kids watch like Child's Play and stuff like that, and then they catch their kid walking around the house with a knife, changing the younger sibling. What do you expect is going to happen if they're taught that it's okay and they don't know the difference? But anyway, that's kind of my little rant on that. But yeah, that's pretty damn creepy. No way
I
in
got
hell.
the shivers several times during that.
All right, my next one. Well, I don't have videos. Next one was off Newsweek. Former Navy pilot describes weird black cube that flew past flight team. This was actually 11 hours ago, so it was from today. Former U.S. Navy pilot Ryan Graves gave a detailed description of regular encounters that flight teams had with a black box UFO they were seeing every day. Appearing on the latest episode of Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Graves spoke about what a pilot who saw the unidentified object saw. As the podcast began, he highlighted his credentials and history with the Navy, saying he studied mechanical and aerospace engineering. After graduating from college, he went on to fly F-18 jets for the Navy. He
So
said
this guy knows what he's talking about.
Right. He said the multiple pilots repeatedly witnessed a strange UFO phenomena on their equipment, as well as with their own eyes, starting late 2013. He said the pilots were seeing these objects by eye and also on their radar after receiving upgrades to their aircraft. The objects were always up there every day as they conducted training exercises. In June, NASA announced that it was commissioning a study team to examine what it called observations of events in the sky that cannot be identified as aircraft or known natural phenomena. From a scientific perspective, starting in the fall, a report is expected by the spring of 2023, which it's going to be just like the release. We're not going to hear anything from it. On his podcast, Rogan asked Graves, "You guys go from not having any idea that these things are out there to an upgraded radar system to seeing them every day. What is the thought? How are you feeling? Is there an evolution of the thought pattern of how you're addressing these things?" It says, initially you were thinking they are radar errors. When do you start getting the thought of what the F is this thing? Rogan said. Graves replied to the question that the questions arose about what these UFOs were after the pilot first saw one of them. There were 2 aircraft from my squadron. They took off in a flight of 2, he said. They are essentially flying in formation like one diagonally in front of the other. As they hit the area, one of these objects went right between their aircraft. Wow, that's pretty damn close. Graves continued, the lead pilot saw the object. The second pilot did not, which is not surprising because you're usually very focused on flying formation. The lead really has leeway to look around. He saw it and immediately came back. So that unnerved him enough to where he turned around.
Yeah, that's...
What the pilot saw, Graves said, he came back and said, "Hey, I almost hit one of those damn things." We all knew what he was referring to, even though we didn't necessarily have a name for it, just because we were seeing them so much. He described it. He said it was black or dark gray cube. And that cube was inside of a clear translucent sphere. Essentially, the corners or the apex of that cube, as best he could tell, were touching the inside of that sphere. That's weird. I've heard of them. I don't know what they are.
That's weird, yes.
Said he continued that was the high probability answer was that it was some type of classified program of our own making that had started operating in the area that they were not supposed to for whatever reason. Graves said. He continued, that was kind of our assumption. We submitted a safety report because of the near mid-air collision, a HAZREP or hazard report. This is essentially a notice that goes out when a whole fleet that says this is a potential hazard that can cause a loss of an aircraft. It was due to us almost hitting an unknown object of unknown origin and how it continued for a while. There were a number of hazard reports about that, Graves said.
So
yeah,
I mean, that's documented.
Yeah, documented.
Well,
and it's pretty credible. I mean, the way I look at it, he's a Navy fighter pilot. They're trained to identify different aircraft in flight, moving 600 miles an hour or faster. So they have to have the reaction time. I mean, imagine going so fast. Right now, this is the way it was explained to me when I was a young Marine on the flight line learning my job. And we would clean the windscreens every morning. And a pilot hollered at me. He said, "Hey," he said, I want to show you something. There's a little bitty speck. I mean, just tiny. And he told me, he said, "You see that speck? It's in my vision." He said that needs to be cleaned off because something that small moving at 600 miles an hour can be inside of me within a matter of seconds. It could be hiding something out there. Just to kind of put that in perspective. That's how fast they're moving. But you got something else to share?
I mean, I've got some weird stories from several different sites. I mean, just kind of go over the headlines. We don't need to read the whole story, probably.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it is Halloween time, so there was a Minnesota pumpkin this year was crowned winner of the Way Off, and it was over 2,500 pounds, 2,560 pounds.
That's a big damn pumpkin.
It is a big damn pumpkin. I can probably share you that picture. It's large. Here you go. There's their pumpkin.
Jeez.
That is a large pumpkin. That's on
Yeah, it is.
NPR today. So yeah, I
Yeah.
found it pretty interesting. Speaking of pumpkins, I don't have any stuff for this, but apparently the Border Patrol stopped a vehicle carrying $400,000 worth of meth in condoms stuffed in pumpkins, Halloween pumpkins. So pumpkins can be scary.
That's right. They're methed up.
Yeah, they're all methed up. They're probably coming to the metropolis of Caney. Not kidding. Not kidding. Let's see. Shipment of baby wipes turns out to be $11 million worth of cocaine. Well, that's exciting.
Whew.
Right?
Jeez.
Let's see. Here's some weird stuff. What is that? Where did that go? Oh, snakes on a plane. I guess there was a airplane that had quite a bit of excitement because they found a snake on a plane. This seems like something I've heard before.
Wasn't Samuel L. Jackson involved in that somehow?
I don't know. There was an actual snake on a plane.
Yeah. What do you do? I mean, you put him in a bag, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Fillet it and serve it to the crew. I don't know.
Yeah. You can't just throw it out the window. I mean, or pull over and let it go.
Throw it in the toilet.
Yeah, that'll work too, I guess.
And
Flush
flush.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it can be part
the
of
guy
one of
that
those blue balls that falls out of the sky.
Yep. One of the whoever's draining the blue water might get a surprise, I guess.
Woohoo!
Chris said she'd be airborne.
Yeah, she'd be gone. She's not much in for snakes. Let's see. I had something else.
Let's see.
here.
Go ahead. I'll share mine next.
Well, let's see. Oh, this is weird. It's not really paranormal or crazy, but Massachusetts woman is facing multiple assault and battery charges for allegedly releasing a swarm of bees at a group of sheriff's deputies. So, I mean, it's not paranormal or anything, but it's definitely weird.
Yeah.
I don't like bees.
Well,
I think
it fits the topic tonight. My wife would have died on the spot, I think.
Right?
Well, we don't want her to comment. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and share this one. Man describes coming face to face with a 6-foot green alien in Yorkshire. This is another LAD Bible. This is October 4th of this year. Despite mankind traveling into space on countless occasions and expanding our knowledge of the universe, we're still no closer to solving life's greatest mystery. Do aliens exist? Well, I say that, but one man claims to have actually come face to face with a being from another world. Ben Walgate runs the YouTube channel 401 Files. Obsessed with UFOs, he regularly posts about possible sightings and strange encounters to have been recorded across the globe. And the 35-year-old has now opened up about his own experience of meeting a strange green life form when he was just a boy. That seems to be kind of the standard. Yeah, my wife said she would have died like 6 times. Ben says he's been away on a camping trip as a Cub Scout at Snowball Plantation near York when the coach stopped to let the lads off to have a short walk and a break. Speaking to the Mirror, he recalled getting split up from the rest of the crowd and spotting a figure in the distance. Looking back, Ben said he saw a 6-foot green creature about 25 yards away from where he was standing. He said it either walked with a stoop or was trying not to be seen. One thing is for certain, though, it was definitely not of this earth, he says. The wooded area wasn't that dense, so I got a good look at this thing. It might have only been a few seconds, but we made eye contact with it. It had black eyes, said Ben. It was such a weird vibe. Its head in proportion to its body was tiny. It's not like the stereotypical alien with gray skin and big black eyes. This thing was more lizard. I'm not saying it has scales, but it wasn't snake-like. And I guess that's supposed to be the footprint, I guess. Yeah, Ben also found footprints on North Yorkshire moors. That's hard to tell, but what were you going to say?
Maybe it was the Green Man.
Very well could be. Said it was olive green from head to toe, very sleek, slender looking thing, dark black eyes, little tiny head. My son getting on here asking for money. Said it was olive green from head to toe, very sleek, slender looking thing. Dark black eyes, little tiny head, long over proportional sized arms that came past his knees. It was just otherworldly. It could be. It shouldn't have been walking on 2 feet. What's up?
I want to say the Green Man, he's kind of part tree, so he'd have gangly limbs like that. So, I mean, they're in Europe there, right?
Yeah. It's in England here.
The Green Man is a thing, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a thought.
Yeah, it's possible. But what I was saying earlier, this seems to be the point. There, the case for most people in this space, with the paranormal or the UFOs or aliens or Bigfoot, their interest in it usually starts in an experience. It seems like, and but that, because I know that's what got me really into this is my personal experiences when I was young. And from there, it's just been always asking that question. Like you, I mean, you were exploring old abandoned buildings, so it fits right into ghost hunting and things like that.
Yeah. I was illegally trespassing is what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, my kid said, "Yo, Dad, can I get $9 for Subway?" He said, "I'm joking. This is entertaining." Yeah. Said you'll have to starve tonight. It'll be late by the time I send it to you. Caleb, or he said, my wife said, our little boy said he thought he seen someone tall going in the laundry room just a little bit ago.
You go get your laundry out there, Phil.
No, not right now. It's still down there. I'm not going to go into this. We need to do a true crime episode like once a month too. I think that would be fun.
That would be fun.
I think a true crime. What do you guys think listening? Do you guys think, or listening or watching or whatever, do you think that would be a fun?
Lightning vote. True crime, yes or no?
Oh, he was upstairs, I guess.
Oh.
I've seen up here too. And Garrett, is Garrett still on? Garrett, you still on?
Chris says yes.
Yes.
We got a little bit of a delay on Facebook.
Yeah, I think Garrett told me he was. Oh, dang it! Yeah, am I still there?
You're still there.
He said he had some experiences up here too. Okay, well, I kind of blanked out on my screen for a second.
Mine's been doing that lately.
Anyway,
I don't know why. Now you just blanked out.
I'm gonna turn Facebook off and see if that helps.
Okay.
Anyway, we're gonna kick off the rest of the show. We're just gonna talk about the fun and the history of Halloween, man. I mean, like I said, it's one of my most favorite holidays. But the story behind it is really interesting. or I think it would, or think it is.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of history there.
There is. And it starts like what, 2,000 years ago? Yeah.
I don't have a timeline on my research, but
I've got some pulled up right here. It's on history. I
Okay.
know there's so many different stories that there's differences. I mean, just like anything that far back, like the whole jack-o'-lantern history, how, the Irish brought it over and all that started with turnips. It was named after a guy named Jack, and there's a different description and all that stuff. and if we can find it, if we come across it, we will kind of go into it.
all right.
But starting out, I mean, the ancient origins of Halloween dates back 2,000 years ago. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, or pronounced Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer. Oh, dang it.
I think you're on the same one I'm on.
On the history? On history.com?
Yeah. Mine
Yeah,
are
probably.
excerpts, but yeah.
So this day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter at the time of year, and was often associated with human death. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghost of the dead returned to Earth. See, and there are several different cultures that celebrate the death, and they say the family comes back, past family members come back.
There's
And
a
I've
lot
also
of-
heard that the veil is thin this time of year, and is that part of? I kind of wonder if that's the case.
it
I don't
could
know.
be.
Yeah, I don't know if Jess is still on, but in addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, the Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or the Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. For people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, those prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long, dark winter. To commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. When the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening from the sacred bonfire, to help protect them during the coming winter. So I find that pretty interesting, and how it's changed.
Well, I mean,
But, yeah.
that's what people do. They change things to make it
Right.
more interesting. I'm surprised it didn't become a drinking holiday, honestly.
I'm sure some people it is.
For some
You know?
people, every holiday is a drinking holiday.
Yeah, I mean, but how many Halloween parties, for adults or whatever, right now, and that's what they're celebrating. They're drinking and on making merry.
How half of them turn into
with that.
drunken orgies. I'm sorry.
I've never been to one of those.
I haven't either, but you see them on TV all the time.
Yeah. My wife said now it's for selling candy. They said I was watching the thing earlier.
And that's interesting how that came to pass.
Yeah. Is it on? Let's see. Is it on here? I haven't even really
Internet's
looked
doing
down
weird
there.
things. Sorry.
No, you're good. Let's see. Yeah, I said 1/4 of this is just the did you know on the website. Did you know 1/4 of all the candy sold annually in the U.S. is purchased for Halloween?
I believe that.
Yeah.
And I ate it all.
Now on, with the Roman Empire, by 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territory in the course in the course of 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. The first day was Fairlia, on a day late in October where the Romans traditionally commemorating the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of this celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that is practiced today on Halloween. That's
Not
kind
as
of cool.
much
I didn't know
anymore.
that. No, I remember as a kid, all the kid Halloween parties, they had bobbing for apples and all that stuff. It was pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah.
And then in 609 AD, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome in honor of all the Christian martyrs, and the Catholic feast of All Martyrs' Day was established in the Western Church. Pope Gregory III later explained the festival to include all saints as well as martyrs and moved the observance from May 13th to November 1st. By the 9th century, the influence of Christianity has spread into the Celtic lands, where it gradually blended with and supplanted older Celtic rites. In 1000 AD, the church made November 2nd All Souls Day, a day to honor the dead. It's widely believed today that the church was attempting to replace the Celtic festival of the dead with a related church-sanctioned holiday.
Well, they did that many times. They did that a lot.
Yeah, let's see. On May, you got that one. Yeah. On All Souls Day.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
You want to say they those celebrations included the Celtic commemorations of Samhain, complete with the bonfires and masquerades.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. See, it says All Souls Day was celebrated similarly to Samhain, which with big bonfires, parades, dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and devils. The All Saints Day celebration was also called All Hallows or All Hallowmas, from Middle English All Hallow Messe. I don't know Middle English, meaning All Saints Day. And the night before it, the traditional night of Samhain in the Celtic religion began to be called All Hallows Eve, and eventually Halloween. So that's where the name is derived from, Halloween. And then Halloween comes to America. The celebration of Halloween was legal systems there. Halloween was much more common in Maryland and the southern colonies. As the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups and the American Indians meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebration included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest. Neighbors would share stories of all the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance, and sing. Colonial Halloween festivities also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief-making of all kinds. But by the middle of the 19th century, animal autumn festivals were common, but Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing the Irish potato famine, helped popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. So there's, so far, it's building up here in the United States. We have yet to see the pumpkins. They're wearing costumes now.
Well, that started in 1000 AD.
Right.
And the poor people would visit the houses of the wealthy families to get soul cakes.
Mm-hmm. And there was a song I heard. Let me look it up real quick. Song that they would sing, because they weren't saying like trick or treat, anything like that. When they would go, they would ask for fruit or soul cakes. And there is an actual thing called soul cakes. Let's see if we can find. Well, hey, there is a. Let me share this. Let me pause our fun music here. First version of Listen to Soul Cake Song. You kind of get the idea of it.
Kind of creepy.
It is creepy.
I mean, tune.
It is absolutely. The first verse, if you couldn't understand it, it says, "God bless the master of this house, the mistress also, and all the little children that round the table grow, like young wise men and maidens, your cattle in your store, and all that dwell within your gates. We wish you 10 times more." And then the refrain was, "A soul, a soul, a soul cake. Please, good missus, a soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, or a cherry. Any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for the one who made us all." It is weird, but it kind of reminds me of Christmas caroling.
It does.
So that's just kind of weird. You don't hear that now. I mean, but this was in what, probably, well, obviously medieval times and all that good stuff, but yeah, it's just weird. Where are we at? Okay, we're talking Coming to America. We've already talked that one. Now the history of trick-or-treating. It says, borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition. Young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors.
Alrighty.
In the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghost pranks and witchcraft. At the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became most common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, foods of the season, and festive costumes. Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of the Halloween celebrations. Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And there's still some religious denomination or some religious denominations that don't want people dressing up as evil things. They kind of, they're on board with the whole dressing up thing, but they don't want their members to dress up as something evil, like something demonic or, ghosts, scary things, this and that. I've seen that firsthand. Right. I think that's the scariest of them all. I mean, it's like,
I'm not sure that's not demonic.
I believe it is for the large majority of them. I absolutely do believe it is. It's kind of like my wife was talking. My daughter loves Scooby-Doo, right? And my daughter was getting up to go to the bathroom, and she's like, "I want somebody to come with me." She's 5, so she's like, "I want somebody to come with me because sometimes Scooby-Doo scares me." My wife made the comment. She said, "Yeah, but if you look at it, all the monsters are just usually people."
That's
You
what's
know,
scary.
how true is that? I mean, even though I believe that is the point of Scooby Doo, they're explaining they had all these monsters, but yet it's always a person behind it.
Until the newer ones.
Right.
So, but yeah, real monsters walk on 2 feet usually.
Yep. Absolutely, they do. Have you seen the pictures? And I'll look them up. I'm not going to go more into the article, but I may look up the story behind the jack o' lantern because I didn't see it on there.
I believe I've got it right here.
Do you? Go for it. I'm going
Yes.
to do some looking on some.
And
I'm going to do.
people have been making jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween for centuries. The practice originated from an Irish myth about a man nicknamed Stingy Jack. According to the story, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. True to his name, Stingy Jack didn't want to pay for his drink, so he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin that Jack could use to buy their drinks. Once the devil did so, Jack decided to keep the money and put it into his pocket next to a silver cross, which prevented the devil from changing back into his original form. Jack eventually freed the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for 1 year, and that should Jack die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, Jack again tricked the devil into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. When he was up in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross onto the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack not to bother him for 10 more years. Soon after, Jack died. As the legend goes, God would not allow such an unsavory figure into heaven. The devil, upset by the tricks Jack had played on him, and keeping his word not to claim his soul, would not allow Jack into hell. He sent Jack off into the dark night with only burning coal to light his way. Jack put the coal into a carved out turnip and has been roaming around the earth ever since. The Irish began to refer to this ghostly figure as Jack of the Lantern and then simply Jack o' Lantern. So, in Ireland and Scotland, people began to make their own versions of Jack's lanterns by carving scary faces into turnips, potatoes, and then placing them into windows or near doors to frighten away Stingy Jack and other wandering evil spirits. In England, large beets are used. Immigrants from these countries brought the jack o' lantern tradition with them when they came to the United States and soon found that pumpkins, a fruit native to America, make perfect jack o' lanterns and tasty pies.
Yes, sir. um, we've talked about how people have dressed up for 1,000 years to celebrate Samhain or All Saints Day or Halloween. Have you ever seen the pictures of like the early 1900s costumes that people made? Because
I
they
have
weren't mass
not.
produced like they are now. Holy crap, dude! There's some freaky ones. I'll share some of these.
All right.
Yeah, there's some freaky ones out there. Like these. I don't
Oh,
know.
weird. Arr.
Let's see. Here's another good one.
Oh
They,
my.
these are these kind of remind me of the old ventriloquism dummies.
Yes, yes, they
You
do.
know.
Well, paper mache. I mean,
Yeah. There's like a dog and a cat, maybe. I don't know.
meow.
Oh crap! And clowns, of course, clowns.
Oh, clowns. I hate clowns.
Witches. Um, there's some mushrooms.
That's not what they look like.
No, it's not. Here's some more clowns and what's this? I think this looks probably Alice in Wonderland. I'm guessing.
Yes, Alice
You
in
got the
Wonderland.
rabbit, um, all that. And here's
Look at your
some.
heads.
Yep. Let's
Yeah.
see. There's the Michelin Man, early
Yes.
1900s. That's a good one. That's a crazy looking one.
I mean, that's got to
Oh, I
be more than
mean-
that. That's got to be what, probably the 50s, I'm guessing, here.
Yeah, 50s at least.
Let's see. Well, there's a chicken man.
Hey, have you seen the one where they put arms on animals? The videos where they put arms on
Yes.
animals.
Yeah.
They've got
Chris
some
said,
good
"Well,
ones
those
for
make." They do. Chris said, "Well, those make my Planet of the Apes costume look downright silly."
chicken.
Oh, dude, remember the old vinyl costumes?
Well, with a plastic mask, yes.
Yeah, God, those things.
I went as an astronaut with one of
You
those.
sweat to death in those things. Didn't matter how cold it was. Or
Oh yeah, it'd be 20 degrees
if
below
anybody's
zero, and you're
watching,
freaking sweating.
I know it.
Mm,
Let's see.
The
Are we old enough to be called
nylon
vintage?
pants. What do you got there? I like the old
let's see.
1950s paper mache ornaments. I thought they were
That's-
cool, the pumpkins and witches and whatnot. Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
costumes that almost killed you. Yes,
Yeah. The ones that almost killed you.
yes,
Yep.
yes. I remember some of these.
Uh,
I've seen these. I looked at them in the store.
Yeah, my wife said that guy went all out on the chicken costume. Yep. Yeah, man, these things.
My
You would
brother went
sweat
as a
to death in these
Sleestack
things.
from Land of the Lost.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it. Hey, there is
Um,
the Planet of the Apes one right there.
Yep, right there.
Mhm.
Was
Yep.
that you, Chris?
I mean, it's about the right time period.
Yep. And I remember they would always rip.
Yes, and
You know,
fray at the legs.
Yep. Especially, because we were out walking around the town, I mean,
Right.
parents were at home. You just went out and had fun, And
I remember
you
that
would all be
Batgirl costume.
this one.
Yeah.
I think I was like Frankenstein one year. I don't remember Yoda one year. Lord, I don't remember what all I was. I know I was Dracula.
I'd
one
already
year.
outgrown Yoda by the time Yoda came along.
Yeah. Yep. Except my mom, she likes to sew, so she sewed me a robe, but I used the mask. I do remember that. I had the mask, and the vinyl, obviously get tore
Yeah.
up. But my mom sewed a brown robe and stuff, and made it look like Yoda.
I remember having
There's
to
some other goofy looking
re-staple
ones.
the rubber bands on them.
Yep. And you couldn't see anything.
No, you couldn't see crap. You were going to get run over. That's why you had to go with an adult. Oh, look, there's the
Yep.
Sleestack. My brother had that one. Back up a
Where
little.
at?
Back up just a little. Up. Right there. Vintage Land of the Lost. Up. You went down again.
Oh, this right here?
Yeah. Yeah, my brother had that one. I remember that. That was.
Yeah, here's we got Planet of the Apes. We got a clown. There was that droopy dog.
Snoopy.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah. I don't know what that one is. Yeah, they were cool.
Yep. Then I don't remember. Do you remember? I don't know. I don't even know if they still do it anymore, but we used to go on parade around school, wear costumes of school.
They do that every year here in Caney. They have a Halloween parade.
Oh, do they?
They go right down Main Street.
Yeah,
it's one of the cooler things they do here in town.
I wish they would bring it back, but I think they do it more out of political correctness. Because if you have a really nice costume and somebody can't afford another one, they'll feel bad or whatever. Oh, Sarah put those are more horrifying than any Halloween decoration I've ever seen. Which one? Did you catch the early 1900s one? But Yeah, I mean, I wish they would still do that for the most part, but I think everything's gotten too politically correct, and they're worried. Like,
Oh yeah.
they're doing something at the school that the kids go to. They're doing like the Monday of the week of Halloween or whatever, or the week before. They can wear the costume of their favorite book character, and on there is noted that anybody except Captain Underpants. And I don't know if you're familiar with Captain Underpants, but
That
it's pretty
ruins the
hilarious.
whole deal.
Are you
'Cause
familiar
I
with
would
Captain
totally have
Underpants?
gone as Captain Underpants.
Yeah. And my wife
Oh
and I are
wait,
like,
we'd have to change it to Captain Thunderpants. My monitor just went dead.
oh, I can see you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just my monitor.
Huh.
There I am. I must have a loose
Yeah.
connection back there.
I gotta share. For those of you who don't know, Captain Underpants, I understand why. I can, but the thing is they wouldn't have put that unless somebody had tried it.
Oh, I know somebody did. They're tidy whities and a red towel around their neck.
Right. Even if it was on the outside, they probably had some racing stripes or something in their pants or something if they wore the underwear on the outside or something like that.
Captain Thunderpants.
Yeah.
Thunder in my pants.
So I mean, I'm sure that's happened, like I said, but I like to see them doing different. I mean, I know they dress up out of work too. A lot of people do. I've never done it out there. I can't bring myself to participate in that, but
I go as a corporate slave every time.
right. Oh, Chris threw us the face palm. We must be doing something right.
Yeah, I'll be getting divorce papers tomorrow. I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, going back, Sarah said she did see the early 1900s one, but somehow the 70s and 80s ones are worse.
I can't say that. I
Yeah.
disagree.
Mom, please don't act like you didn't look like a Happy Meal toy in a trash sack. Maybe that's what she was face palming. I don't know. Yeah, man. I mean, again, I love Halloween. It's no secret. I do my best to, I don't watch a lot of scary movies just for my kids' sake. Every now and again, I enjoy them. But again, one of my favorite movies, from being a kid, because up in Liberty, Liberty is a town of about 100 people. The town I grew up in, they had an old school building, and like the 4-H would always do a Halloween party up there and stuff like that. And they would be playing movies and on the old real projectors. And one of the first Halloween movies I watched was The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the Disney version. And that was up there. You just go in and party and have fun. I mean, as a little kid, and bobbing for apples. And what was funny, is you got all these kids from all around town putting their faces in this, trough of water with apples in it. They're all the same. You think about it now, it's not very damn hygienic.
No, it really was not. It's a bacteria factory.
Yep. My wife said, I can't watch scary movies. I'm a big chicken. And she is.
I used to watch.
There's some.
I used to love to watch the Puppet Master movies. Probably nobody's ever seen them.
Yeah. Oh, probably not. Yeah, probably not. But yeah, I mean, I just remember the fun of Halloween. And it's not, I mean, even now, I mean, I as a parent, Sarah said, campy horror movies are where it's at. Yeah. Uh, but even now, as a parent, you're like, God, I just want to get this over with and get it done. I still enjoy it, but I remember the enjoyment as a kid walking around town. And Liberty was small enough. If we went around town, we would go home, change costumes, and go back out. And obviously, everybody caught on to it, but that was the fun of it. You're out just having a good time. You're not causing trouble. And as small as Liberty was, I mean, the people, if you got in trouble, they'd probably kick your butt and then send you home. And then your parents would know before you got home that
Right.
you screwed up and they kicked your butt. Then you get your butt kicked again. So, I mean, it was lose-lose. So,
I've only been
uh,
spanked 4 times for the same thing.
right. 4 different people. They saw me.
Be like that scene from Airplane, where they all line up,
Yep.
the nun with a big wrench.
Yep. My wife, she said we can't let our kids just go house to house anymore. It's sad, and it is. It absolutely is. But that's one of the biggest enjoyments I got, because your parents they let you go out after dark, because you always
Yeah.
had to be home before dark. And this was the night that you got to go out after dark and have fun with your buddies, because you always met up with your buddies and went around town, got as much candy as you could, and you went home. And then, for us, I mean, our back porch, because we didn't have a front door that we used because Dad was remodeling the house, so we always used the back porch. And anybody that knew us, knew go to the back porch because the light was on, all that good stuff. But usually, Dad, we'd only get like 3 or 4 trick or treaters. Dad, he would stay up and pass candy out. Usually, Mom was working nights, so Dad would, and it was the one night Dad would actually stay up relatively late. And so there's a lot for me. There's a lot of good memories from Halloween. Hanging
Same
out with my
here.
buddies, and it was fun, and that's what it was about. Um,
I remember my aunts taking me around Arc City and only covering, a few blocks. But I remember one time, remember those big paper grocery sacks?
mhm.
I came back one time with a whole freaking grocery sack.
Heck yeah.
And then I went and did it again in Udall.
Yeah,
Not as
see, we
much though,
never.
but
I can only think of 1, maybe 2 years that we went either to Cherryville or Coffeeville. And that was going with some of my friends, and we went up there and like trick or treated and all that. But most of the time, it was just around Liberty. I mean, everybody knew you,
right.
because it's such a small town. And but now around here, and they're to me they're a blessing because you have those trunk or treats going on with the churches, and
Yeah, I love them. Those are great.
those are great. Although I will say, and I understand in some instances, that people are pretty damn stingy, but they give them like a little piece of that super bubble gum, that runs out of flavor 2 seconds after you put it in your mouth and start chewing it, and that's all they get.
I can't eat
I
it
understand
anymore.
yeah, I know, but
Pulls my fillings out.
I but sometimes for me it's like it's frustrating because they're only giving the kids a little bit here and there, but I mean you're going all the way around it. Now, I mean Jess's house, is she still on? I don't know if she's listening or not. But
She has an event. She might as well just sell
yeah.
tickets.
Oh
My
yeah, that'd
gosh.
be awesome. I mean, she needs to set up a whole block party thing, and sell tickets to it or something. But we took the kids to that here a couple of years ago. We didn't make it out there last year. Um, but usually we'll go to Coffeeville, hit one of the trunk or treats there, run to Deering, talk to a friend of ours. He always wants to see the kids. Then go down to the church in Deering, hit another trunk or treat, and then we're pretty much done for the night because the kids have loaded up. And then a couple years ago, we went to Jess's house. We hit a couple houses in the neighborhood, and then Jess's, they're passing out candy, making the funnel cakes and all that stuff. It was cool, and they do a really big to do on it. I mean, what is that? Nightmare on Bradley? Is that the Nightmare
Yeah,
on
Nightmare
Bradley?
and Bradley.
Yeah, so go check that out on Facebook. You'll see what they're doing. Pretty sure they're getting busy with it.
Sorry, distemper.
You put down. Let's see.
Nobody will do it though. I mean, they keep saying, "No, we got to suffer. You do too."
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that was big. You remember making popcorn balls?
Yep.
My
So
grandma
much
made
caramel.
popcorn balls every year. And they were giant. They were as big as a hedge apple. I kind of thought it was cool. Say a few years ago, somebody started selling them in little packages, so they could bring back the tradition. I guess they probably remembered making them with their grandma.
Right. Yeah, but man, I remember there being so much caramel in them. You feel like your teeth are gonna pull out when you took a bite because they just
Caramel
stick.
and corn syrup.
Yep.
Caramel and corn
This
syrup.
is Jess's website or Facebook page for Nightmare on Bradley, and it is such a cool thing. I mean, this is all stuff, and most of it it revolves around Tim Burton,
Yeah.
his movies. Because you got Nightmare on or Nightmare Before Christmas. You have Beetlejuice, all that stuff, and
Oh, they go all
it's
out.
cool,
It's
man.
cool. It is.
It is.
Cool.
It really is. And this is from 6 days ago, so they've got a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah.
They got the
awesome.
countdown sign up. Got the candy.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Whole bunch of different stuff. So, yeah, if you guys go check the page out, you'll see what they've got going on. And I was going to say Jessica jump on and talk about it here, but
I don't think she's on right now.
yeah, I don't think she is
That's
either.
all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Maybe she wants to jump on and talk about it next week. She can or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep. Oh, there she is. There she is.
Hey.
Yeah, we're pitching your Nightmare on Bradley. We were talking about it, how some people kind of go all out for it, and I like that. There used to be a place in Coffeyville. This guy would run lights and all that stuff. I mean, Christmas lights and Halloween lights on First Street, and we drive by and check it out, and it was cool just because he had so much stuff going on, but there's not many people that really go all out. I mean, they'll decorate, but that's about it, but Jess,
Yeah.
And her crew, they go all out. So if you've got little ones and close, go check them out, man. It's cool. The kids loved it. I can't say enough good about it because it's just cool.
Yep. I can send her a link if you want her to come on.
Yeah, if you want to come on, you game to come on for a few minutes?
I sent the link, so
Okay.
But it is cool. They do an awesome job. They work on this all year long. I mean, I think it'd be cool to do a haunted house every year.
Yeah, I remember we did that in high school.
It's cool. I had fun doing it.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, I'm scary. I don't need a mask.
We did. Do you remember? Well, you didn't grow up around here, and it's not there anymore. But when I was in high school, I was in FFA, and that was one of our big yearly fundraisers. We did a haunted house out at the old Parker Schoolhouse, which was supposedly haunted and all that. And they tore it down years ago, about the time of the flood. I think it got flooded out. But yeah, it was so much fun. My first year, I mean, I was like on a guillotine. I had my head tucked, under my shirt in a balloon, and this big bar would come down, bam, scare the crap out of people, because it was a balloon. I'd sit there and scream and flop around, Then I get my head chopped off and I'd fall on the floor. Man, my ribs were freaking bruised from falling on the floor. It was so much fun. It was a good time. And then I took a break from that. We'd go outside and they go down in this basement and there's a front of a steam engine. They've got bolted to the front of this wheelbarrow, bright ass light. And it's got the air horn, and you're in a little confined basement and they're hitting that air horn. Womp, womp, people go hauling ass out of there. Then your guys with the chainsaws come out and start chasing them to their cars and shit. It was so much fun.
Oh,
A lot of
we used
fun.
to get together movie nights with my friends while I was in high school. We'd watch scary movies, and somebody would always excuse themselves to go to the bathroom and then go outside and start up a chainsaw, or pull up in the backyard and just flip on their lights through the patio windows to scare the crap out of them. Hide behind the couch, and then have your other friends say, "Well, they're not coming," and then reach up about halfway through the first movie and grab somebody.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we went. We did it as a prank, and it was our senior year in high school. And we're like, "Screw it, let's go trick or treat and see how much candy we can get." Me and my buddies.
Why
And we
not?
did. Yeah, we did. And
What are you supposed
one
to
of
be,
us.
a high school student?
I mean, we were dressed like camo, hunting and all that. And well, my buddy's brother had built this arrow, that kind of goes over your head. It looks like it shot you through the head.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember which one of us it was, but put it on our crotch, and we went trick
Oh
or treating.
no.
And everybody's like, "Damn, it looks like that hurt,"
No, 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 no.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody's like, "Aren't you a little too old?" Or, "Well, we're just having fun," I mean, and it doesn't bother
Possibly, I
me.
don't know.
It doesn't bother me if, high schoolers, if they want to go trick or treating, as long as they're not messing with little kids, or if they're just out having fun, man, go for it. That's what it's about. You don't get to do it very long in the big scheme of things.
No, we should have adult trick or treating.
I know it.
Wait, put out, instead of putting out the regular light, put out like a blue light on your porch, and all the adult trick or treaters stop by and get those little bitty bottles of vodka. Or something.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. I was like,
I mean,
hey, you could pass out little shots.
yeah. And then you have the Halloween party afterwards and get rid of your.
Right. See, Chris agrees.
Yes. It's a new tradition. We're going to start it.
Yeah.
We'll start planning this year for next year.
Absolutely. When we could all end up at Jess's house at the end of it.
Yeah. Funnel cakes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Funnel cakes and hot dogs. Corn dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funnel cakes, corn
I'm good
dogs,
with either one.
and vodka.
Some houses hang pineapples on their doors. They have different surprises.
I'm not sure I want to know.
I'm not aware of that, and I'm not.
I don't know
sure
what
I
the
really
hell's
want to
going
go
on
into
there.
that. Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will tell me what that's about later, and I'll be suitably embarrassed.
Chris, I literally snorted. Yeah.
Margaritas and tacos.
I'm
For
good
Halloween.
with that too.
Yeah. I'm liking the sound of it. We may be creating a new American tradition.
Yeah, that'd be fun, I mean,
New
they're starting to
traditions for
do.
the 21st century.
I know they're starting to around here. They're starting to do these adult proms.
Yeah.
Where the adults go, and it's like a prom, but it's for adults. Why can't we do adult trick or treating?
I
let the
now I
kid-
know it's going to be bad. Look at this. It's going to be bad.
Yeah. I mean, let the kids go have their fun, do their trick or treating, and then drop them off at a sitter, and then you go
Yeah,
trick or treating.
drop them off with a teenager, and then you
I'll
here
be back
you
in
be
the morning.
responsible for a while.
Right.
I'm not.
Here's your trick.
Woohoo!
Uh,
Find me face down in the yard the next morning.
yeah. You'd have to call. I'd have to call in the night before. Hey, I'm not gonna make it.
Are you sick? I will be.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Just schedule 4 days of vacation. What are you thinking of for this? You don't want to know.
Yep. I'm celebrating
live it.
Halloween my way. Yeah. I think it's cool. I mean, I think that would be a blast, man. Let's see. It says on a cruise and sometimes almost on land. Pineapple is a code for swinging or wife swapping. If you see a pineapple on a cruise ship door, it means people are up for meeting other couples for adult fun. Yeah, no.
No. Catch something that Pine Sol won't wipe off.
Yep. Oh, man. Well, let's see.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, is Jess going to jump on with us? I know she said give her a second. I don't know, she may be getting ready. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
But
she may not have been home. I don't know.
oh, maybe not. I mean, if not, that's okay. I mean, we can do it some other time. I don't know. I don't have
It is definitely an event.
Yeah, her place is cool. I mean, her whole front yard is decorated, and they put a lot of work into it. It's
I would
a
hazard
lot
to
of fun.
say is one of the coolest places, in this area of Kansas.
Yeah,
I really think so.
and they do it out of their own pocket. They get some donations and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's out of their own pocket.
Kids and adults all love it.
Well, yeah, I know the year we went, a couple years ago, it was packed. They had people in line. It was packed. There was a lot of people there.
You can't even hardly drive down that street.
No, you can't.
And it's totally worth driving by. May have to widen her street just for the. Just saying, it's quite. It's kind of like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Halloween, and
yeah,
better extension cords.
I would agree with that,
and more taste.
Cool, man. Yeah.
There she is.
There she is. Oh, there she is. What's up, lady?
Whoa.
Hey, sorry, I couldn't get StreamYard to work. I got it.
Interweb problems.
And I look terrible because I've been working on Halloween stuff, so sorry about that.
Not like we.
Oh, no sweat.
I got
look terrible anyway.
Shirts on, and I've got paint all over my hands.
So you've been busy then?
I've been horribly busy. We're Mike and I are leaving for St. Louis tomorrow for a week. And as soon as we get back, we have to hop right in and start getting everything put out for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
So this is like my last day to get anything done because it has to go out. We'll be back on Tuesday, I think. And then we have to start. It's nuts.
Do you guys already have it designed and stuff? How you want to lay everything out?
Yeah, in fact, I can kind of show you. Hold on a second.
She is very organized.
All right.
Not anymore. Oh, wow.
There it is.
Wow.
That
looks like it's grown.
It has. We had to stretch into the. It has stretched into the backyard, into the neighbor's yard. So
now we were there a couple years ago.
Next door to you and just turn it into a permanent.
That's what we really want to buy. The property next door, rip the house off of it, and turn it into more property for Halloween. So it'll be fun.
It'd be like a Halloween amusement park.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Just cut the house and turn it into a haunted house.
Oh, it's full of mold. It's haunted enough with mold. So
Oh yeah,
They'd be
I
hallucinating.
get it.
I mean, they'd be hallucinating, and they may have side effects. Be perfect.
Lasting
Oh.
side effects.
I don't want to deal with the insurance and the disclaimers. So yeah.
Yeah. No, we were just talking about, your Nightmare on Bradley, and I didn't know if you were on there to maybe pitch it for people that are local, that can make it.
Sure.
Market.
We usually
Oh,
start
great.
about 5:30. Nightmare on Bradley is completely Tim Burton based. We're almost there. We almost have all the movies represented. It's a full walkthrough. And instead of just doing plain old candy, we do candy and funnel cakes, fresh made right there. That's one of the things we've been working on this year, trying to figure out how to get the line to stop backing up into the walkthrough. So this year, we're going to send everybody through backwards. So you'll start off in the giant spider tunnel, and you'll end up in we made almost like a Disney park theme line, how they snake. And then up and around. So we'll have a section where after the spider web tunnel where you literally split off. And if you just want candy and you're not interested in the funnel cake, you can literally turn one way, go get candy and finish the walkthrough. Or if you decide you want to wait for the funnel cake, you can go into the snaking line, which will keep you off of the path. That was our problem last year. We had nearly 1,000 people that went through from 5:30 until 9:30. And it at one point snaked all the way through the walkthrough, out our driveway and down the road to the end of the block. So,
Wow.
so we really had to, and our little walkthrough path area is only large enough to fit about 2 or 3 people comfortably. So the people that just wanted candy had no way to comfortably slide past the waiting line to get to the candy. And the people who there were some people that just had to leave. They didn't have time to wait and stay. So they had to really figure out a way to get through. So hopefully we've got that all taken care of this year. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
my
sounds
wife
like
said,
you
"Damn,
really
that's a
do
lot
need
of
to get
people."
that property just for that.
Yeah.
Kidding. You just own a whole block. You just have a huge block party.
Build a giant metal building and just
Yeah.
be inside.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. Well, we don't want to have it indoors because indoors isn't fun. You're supposed to be outside enjoying the fall weather. What we want to do, though, is we do want to put a metal building on it. And then the downstairs property would be Mike's studio and area for his 2 guys in a PA business. The other half of it would be for my studio and my art business. And then the back half and the upstairs would be all storage for Halloween.
Oh, wow.
Which, we need it like crazy. Halloween is literally shoved into every nook and cranny you can think of in this house.
So how many props?
Don't look under the beds.
How many props do you have? Just a rough guess if you don't know.
What do you mean by props?
Like your decorations and stuff that you put out there.
Oh,
inflatables
we have 23 inflatables. 3 of them are giants. We got a new one this year. It's a Jack skeleton that's 18 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actually, we could put him in the back of our house and he'd look over the roof.
Nice.
Yeah. And then otherwise, it's a lot of static props. And I couldn't sit here and list them all. I mean, we've got, headstones, cauldrons. I do a ton of the cutouts representing all the characters from Tim Burton. I saw that you pulled up part of our page. You could see the Emily from The Corpse Bride on there, and we did the witches from Nightmare Before Christmas, and just tons. It just keeps getting more dense every year.
Like my brain.
This year, yes. Dense was something. In fact, this year we're rerunning electric because it kept flipping the breaker last year.
Oh man,
I think we're gonna have to suck it up and get a new line put in. So,
dang,
mm-hmm.
You need to start charging a few bucks at least. I mean,
no, that's not what this is about.
I know, But you got overhead.
No. I tell you, so the reason why this started, so when I was growing up, and I heard you guys talking about it too, that
Uh-huh.
just being able to be out after dark and having a blast with your friends, and you had your favorite houses that you could hit, you
Yep.
know, that had like the best candy or the popcorn
Full-size candy bars.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a favorite, and this sounds really odd, but they were so delicious. I had family that lived in Havana, the little town north of here, and there was a lady who made fresh homemade glazed donuts. She would
Oh,
spend
yeah.
all day the day before making them, and you could smell it all over Havana. It was the most delicious thing.
Oh, that is
And she'd only give you like the one, and you'd try to sneak back later with a different outfit. But she was onto you. She was a sneaky lady. She knew. Yeah. But
Yeah.
growing up, we had all of this. And when I had my daughter and started taking her around, there were literally entire sections of the neighborhoods that didn't have any lights on.
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed is that on the east side of Caney, there was nary a light.
Wow.
And that's where a good portion of the children live in Caney. There's a lot of children that live on that side. They don't have a playground, which I know. I grew up on that side of Caney, and I was always sad because when you're really little, you're not allowed to cross the highway, and that's where all the parks were. And so when Mike and I had the opportunity to move to this side of Caney, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this right. These kids are going to have a place that they're going to look forward to going to every year. It's going to be nice and bright so that the parents feel safe about letting them be here. And it's not going to be scary. Ours is all Tim Burton, so it's all very whimsical and weird and wonderful. It's not gory or bloody. So the parents really love it because they can sit in their car and let their 5-6-year-olds walk in and get their candy and their funnel cake. Although between you and me, most of the parents come in because they're allowed to have funnel cake too.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And it gives them
awesome.
some place to go. Yeah.
Right.
And it's encouraged the neighborhood to start opening their doors. The first year we did this, and it was very tiny. Like it was just like a up and down to our door. But after that first year, a couple more neighbors nearby started turning their lights on and putting out a couple of little decorations or props. And then it got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And now there is at least one house on every block
Well,
that
that's
is
good.
opened up on this side. Yeah.
Nice.
It is. And it always, I could never figure out why it was that way. If you go to the other side of Caney, it is very old school Halloween over there. There is a cotton candy house. There's a fresh popcorn house. There's a glow stick house. There's a foot long pixie stick house. There's a weird sodas house. And they decorate and go all out. And over there, you've got the fire department running, and they give out like full size candy bars, and the library's open. And Caney does it right. So I could never figure out why it was just this little side of town here that was just dark. But no longer. I've taken care
That's
of it.
good.
You have made a community changing event.
I have,
Good.
and it will always stay free. Now, I take donations. Sometimes people, chuck a 10 or a 20 at me, which I'll gladly take to help cover the cost of like the funnel cake. Last year, we went through 35 pounds of funnel cake.
Wow.
And that's dry,
That's
not mixed yet. And I think it was
A lot of oil.
12 jumbo bags of candy, and God knows how many pounds of candy that is. So, and the electric, I won't even mention.
I'll imagine.
It's a lot of electric. It's kind of hilarious. You should swing by the house sometime, like the week of when we're getting it prepped, because our house looks like an octopus with all the electrical cords running out all the windows. Like when we plan it, we set it up into quadrants. How much can run off of this line coming out of this room? And we literally just, there's little things coming out the windows, and
You're
we
gonna have to
tape
get a whole
stuff
new
up.
breaker box and outside outlets for everything for it.
Yeah,
Yep.
probably. Most likely. But it's worth it because the kids love it and I love doing it. they get so excited. We had the adults love it just as much. We had a lady last year. I almost died laughing. She showed up with her husband and she was like, I don't have any kids with me. Can I still have some funnel cake? And I was like, absolutely. That's what this is all about. And she goes, so I live 4 blocks from here and we needed to go grocery shopping. And we stepped outside and I was like, I smell funnel cake. Where's the funnel cake coming from? And she made her husband drive her around really slow with the windows down until she tracked down the scent of it. Because you know how funnel cake is. You can smell it for like a mile. We had people turning off the highway trying to figure out where the funnel cake was coming from. So, yes. She very happily got her funnel cake and went off to go do her grocery shopping. So,
Well, that's good.
She didn't buy anything unnecessary since she'd had a snack.
that's right.
Right.
I see. I'm doing good all over.
That's right.
It's
Yeah, I know we
community
went here a
service.
couple of years ago. You know, we brought the kids
Mhm.
over and it was just cool, man. It was a cool atmosphere. Everybody was happy. There wasn't any, I mean, even though we were waiting, there's a long line. Nobody was complaining. It was just cool because there was so much going on in the yard to look at,
Yeah.
to keep you occupied. You know, it's just cool. You know, so I recommend
Thank you.
anybody, I recommend anybody go check it out. You know, if you're in the area and you're out trick or treating with your kids, or apparently you're not your kids too, go check it out. You know, by all means.
Yep. Get up onto our Facebook page, The Nightmare on Bradley. The day of, we start posting in the morning. You'll get the address and opening times because sometimes it fluctuates depending on where we're at in the setup. And we always tell everybody it's great to be the early bird, but it's better to come after dark because that's when all the cool light show stuff is on. We have so many projectors and singing jack-o'-lanterns and the movies playing. The Nightmare Before Christmas is playing. And here pretty soon, Mike's getting a little big in his britches. He's decided that he's going to put one of those giant projections up on top of the house
Oh no.
of all the characters from Nightmare Before Christmas dancing to the song. So
Well, that's
I don't know how he's going to do it, but that's what he wants to do. It won't happen this year. It'll probably be next year or the year after. He's working through the logistics of it. So
Have to get one of those inflatable movie screens.
yeah, or something. I don't know what he's going to put up there. I'm staying out of it. I have enough on my own plate. I'm going to let him figure that out. I'm just afraid that he's going to roll off the roof all Clark Griswold style and end up in the bushes. So
Well, we
we'll
did-
see.
We did compare it to Christmas Vacation, so the lights. And
It
all that.
is. Yeah. Like a little heads up for anybody that's interested. The night before, we do a really quick run through as soon as it gets dark, just to make sure that everything's running and the lights are pointed in the right direction. And we always pretend to do the when we turn it on because it does. And I imagine our electric out things like
Oh yeah,
They have to
Guarantee it.
turn
We
the extra
haven't had a
breaker on at
blackout
the
yet. I'm waiting for the day.
the whole town goes out. Ooh.
Yeah. Literally, like right before we kick everything on, we go into the house and we turn everything off that's not absolutely needed to be on. We unplug stuff because I mean our house is I think it was built in the mid 60s and it still has the original breaker box in it. It's not pretty. I'm surprised the whole house hasn't caught fire.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, we just figured you were kind of listening or watching whatever you were doing, and we figured we'd let you come on and talk about it, man, because it's such a cool little event, and
Well, thank
I
you.
wish more people would do something more like that around. Because really, man, Halloween's about the kids. Not only that, but it's really about family too, in my opinion, because you're out with your kids, you're
Walking
Mhm.
with them, spending time with
walking
them.
with them, yeah, meeting your neighbors, and
That's what it's all about. I've said it
Yeah.
before. I did a write-up a number of years ago about the importance of Halloween. Caney is one of the few towns left in the US that still kinds of holds those old traditions. Mark was talking about we still have the kiddie parade.
Mhm.
where the kids get to walk away from that school for a whole afternoon and they get to parade downtown and go back and have big old Halloween parties and
Yep.
feast on candy and junk food. And we have all those big houses that really decorate and give out just the coolest stuff. And not in a lot of towns can you find places where they allow the children to go out on their own anymore, but Caney still does it.
Right.
I mean, we have
Right.
our protective parents, yes, but there are kids running around willy-nilly, having fun and getting into trouble, you know,
Yeah.
Hayrack
like they
rides
should
through
be.
town.
Exactly. The churches put on these giant hayrack rides. If you can't get your kids out and about on your own, you can drop them off at the churches, and they put them on these big old huge hayracks, and they drive them around to all the different places to go get candy and stuff. And the fire department puts on a big thing, and the city library puts on a big thing, and they do have a trick or trunk, which I don't particularly care for in most towns, but our town does it in a way that it doesn't interfere with the rest of the trick or treating. It's pretty much over by 6 or so. So
Right.
those kids live the trunk or treat, and then they spread out into town.
That seems to be
So-
the
The
case
sugar
for
high.
most of them that we go to. They end really pretty early. They go from like 5
Mhm.
to 6 to 6:30, 7 o'clock, and it's done.
Yeah.
I know the the Deering Church, the Deering Christian Church, they do a really big one.
Mhm.
And but it's not really, I mean, they've got all the people passing candy out, sitting around the fountain there at the coffee shop. Then they have like a hot dog, the guy cooking hot dogs on the grill. They have a popcorn machine, cotton candy machine, guy handing out
Mhm.
sodas, and it's really pretty cool.
It is
we usually
cool.
hit that.
The only problem I have with them is so Halloween and the American way of doing it, where we send our kids out to go trick-or-treating door to door, is really a way to make the neighborhoods safe. The kids
Right.
get to know whose houses are whose, and the people who live in those homes get to know whose kids are whose. And everybody starts to feel safer. You know your neighbors, you become a community.
Yep.
And it makes your area safer.
Yeah.
Even if it was safe before, you wouldn't know because you don't know your neighbors and you don't talk
Right.
to them and you get to know them. But trick-or-treating is a way to do that. And I always encourage everybody. I was like, I don't care if you can only afford one little bag of candy. Turn your light on for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Get to know the kids in your neighborhood. It's
Yeah.
funner than heck. They're going to get to know you. You're going to get to know them. And you all are going to feel just a little bit safer.
It's one of the reasons why I
Yeah.
like this town is because it reminds me of the time back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Say what you want about this little crossroads town, but most of the time, even the meth heads will stop and help you change a tire.
It's
I mean,
true.
It's true that we have a higher class of, people still remember what it's like to have neighbors and to want to deal with your neighbors and talk to your neighbors and
Right.
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
neighbor things.
My wife said nobody's going to come to our house. No.
Well, you can come and help at our house.
Well, if you need help, holler. We'll drag the kids
we
over
always
and they
need
can go
help.
have good. So,
Absolutely. If
Yeah.
you help at my house, you get free funnel cake and candy all night.
Sugar high.
Sugar high. Yeah. The best sugar high is it's not even Halloween night. It's the following week. So as we're cooking those funnel cakes, we get a lot of funnel cake and sugar built up that we have to ditch. And you can't toss it very far. So we always end up tossing it underneath the table into the grass. And
yeah.
we break down everything over the next couple of days and it's gone. We like to have it up and then have it completely gone. So
right.
it kind of keeps its whimsy, you only get to see it come up the week of and then it's gone. But that pile of funnel cake and sugar stays there because there's no way we can get that cleaned up. It's become this
Right.
mound. We have the fattest squirrels and birds
Oh,
the week afterwards. You can hear them fighting over it out there. The birds and the squirrels will chitter at each other and you can see them zooming in and out trying to get bits of it.
My treasure. My Run!
Yeah. Like I imagine like these fat squirrels up in our trees having major heart attacks and
What a way to go.
Yeah. So the wildlife at our home also gets a treat after Halloween.
Well, that's good, and you get a laugh out of it. So
We do.
win-win.
Yep. And they clean it up in about a week. It's all it takes for them to get through all of that. So I'm sure they're starving right now. They know it's coming. They're like, yes.
Oh, well, I mean, right now it's kind of
For the
weird
winner.
because I was looking at my pecan trees because we have a lot of squirrels out here. I was looking at my pecan trees. We don't have any pecans on our trees this year.
This year was a bad year for nuts.
Yep.
Or fruit.
Yeah. No acorns. My grandfather has a big, huge oak tree out front of his house. Nary an acorn this year.
Yep.
Not one.
Yeah,
So
we didn't get
it's
any
just
peaches.
too high.
Yep.
That's the other
But
thing
yeah.
we're going to have a problem with. We've been charging all the batteries for our drills because it's the only way we're going to be able to get the stakes into the ground is to pre-drill holes.
Really?
It's so dry. Like feet and feet down, you can't get through that dirt. So we've already put our countdown sign up a few weeks ago, and I
Mhm.
literally had to go and get my drill and drill the ground
Jeez.
to get the stakes put down in. It's terrible. And I mean, Caney's under the water ban right now. We have to be really careful with our water usage. A few years ago, this happened where it got really dry really quick, and we knew we couldn't get the stakes down in. So I just flooded the yard a couple days beforehand. Just
Right.
threw the hose out, turned the water on, and walked away. Can't do that this year. So drills it is.
Well, the good thing is it's supposed to rain here next week, but I don't know that it'll be enough to.
Yeah.
I think I seen where something like 12 to 15 inches to bring it back to normal. We need 12 to 15 inches of rain.
Yeah. It's terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so bad that yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, we had a water line break downtown, and they pumped the water out of the ditch, out of the gully that they were working in, back into one of our fire pumpers, and they took it back out and put it back in above the dam.
Wow.
That's how badly we need water, that they had to rescue the water that drained out of the
I saw that on
line.
Facebook. That is absolutely the truth. They pumped it out
Yeah.
and took it back to the river.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The water isn't
It's
even going
nuts.
over the dam. It's dry on one side of the dam.
Yep.
Wow.
So
It's
That's nuts.
crazy.
Yep. No, Jess, I'm glad you jumped on with us. I mean, I wanted to give you a chance to because you could do the story a lot better justice than I could because you live it. And definitely, I would highly recommend anybody going and checking it out. The kids will have a good time. and
Adults can come too.
adults have a good time. I know we enjoyed it when we were over there, just hanging out and.
And you were here
listen
like
to-
2 years ago. It's so
Yeah, it's
much
been like 2
bigger
years
now.
ago. Yeah. We may have to
Yep.
try to slide over there.
You should.
We wound up going over and hanging out with my mom, and my son and I, my little boy, walked around her neighborhood, ran into one of the bosses out at work, and she loaded him up, and so that's another thing. It seems like people are like, I don't know if you heard us talking about it, or just stingy with candy anymore. They're just like, oh, and I get it. If you're living on a budget, I understand that,
Yeah.
and I'm not knocking you.
And
But
candy's
come on.
expensive. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Oh,
it's
it
so
is.
expensive this year. The inflation was horrible.
Yep. But see,
luckily for us, we get a lot of people that donate, so we haven't had to buy that
Yeah.
many bags yet.
well, that's good. It's like Mark was talking about earlier, people used to make, or even you guys, I mean, people used to make the treats.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
And now
was part of the fun.
it's hard to trust anybody anymore.
Yeah.
making,
You can't trust anybody anymore.
no,
unless
people would
you
make cookies,
really,
popcorn
really know 'em.
balls.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's why we make them right in front of them.
right. Yeah. Then that's perfect.
Yep.
If somebody has that ability to do that, I mean, and they're quick, or if
Mhm.
somebody, had a fryer with, like Mark said, corn dogs going on, or make it a whole block party. And that's
Yeah.
essentially what, as big as you have now. I mean, if people get involved, I mean, that would be cool. I mean, make it
Yeah.
a block party, grilling.
I
somebody,
really
you got
feel
a
like
neighbor.
we're doing a lot to bring the community together. I think it's a good
Yeah.
thing.
It
Yeah.
is.
It was when Raven was little, my daughter was little, there was a section we call it the cotton candy house. They've been serving fresh cotton candy. They make it right in front of you for as long as I can remember. In fact, the original lady who started it, when she passed, they put a picture of her house on the back end of her headstone, and it says the Cotton Candy House.
That's awesome.
So that's out in our cemetery.
That's an
but
awesome legacy.
It is.
It is.
And she inspired her neighborhood too, so much so that if you went next door to her, you could get freshly popped popcorn movie style. They had one of those big, huge makers they would rent. And then they had all of the shakers, so you could put any kind of flavor that you wanted
That's
on
cool.
it. And then if you cross the road, you could go get a soda. They had homemade root beer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You have not had root beer until you've had homemade fresh root beer.
no.
That stuff's insane.
It is
It's
good.
like crack cocaine. You'll just keep going back for it.
Yeah.
And then if you went next door to them across the road, they had fresh cookies and brownies.
Oh, wow.
So you would literally just hit that block and just let the kids crisscross back and forth and just get all of this stuff before you headed on. It was one of Raven's favorite spots to be.
Oh, I bet.
So I'm hoping I'm slowly turning my neighborhood into the same kind of thing. And now at least the kids on this side who can't cross the highway because they're too small and maybe their parents can't take them across, they have a place to go and have some fun.
That's cool.
That's
cool.
Really,
My
super
wife,
cool.
my wife commented, says, now we have to watch out for fentanyl. So that's kind of bad. I mean, but I did see, the whole scare about checking the candy and all that stuff. I was watching a thing earlier.
It was an urban legend, by the way. It's never
was.
happened.
There's actually been 2 deaths.
Yeah, but they were put in by family members.
Right. And that's where I was going
Yeah.
with the dad. One, the kid overdosed on heroin because the dad coated the candy in heroin. He blamed it on the chocolate. And then the other one, the kid's dad poisoned the candy or whatever and for life insurance money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's too bad that stories like that get around and kind of ruin the holiday.
Ruin the whole nation, yeah.
It like them putting razors in the apples, in the caramel
Right.
apples and stuff. That never happened. Never, ever happened.
No.
Oh, you're awesome too, Chris.
Yeah, my wife said, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy." Yeah, it is crazy. It's just I don't know. I think with Halloween for me, I think, and this may sound kind of jaded or whatever. I mean, and that's fine. I think I have more good memories from Halloween than I do Christmas.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I was sitting there thinking about it.
It's a near thing when I think about it.
Well,
certainly more with the community.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, so Christmas is what it is year after year. It's the same thing. I mean, family and friends, you get presents, woo, fun, a good dinner, and that's about it. But when it comes to Halloween, especially as a kid in your formative years, you spend, and if you were like me, it was 2 months out, 3 months out, not a month out or a few weeks out, planning what you were going to be this year. What's going to be my costume? What's going to be the coolest thing I can do this year? And then you're plotting out which houses am I going to hit this year? And you get to go out on your own with your friends.
Yep.
It's like you're legally being devious.
Right.
You get to go and knock on doors and take candy for free and treats and other sorts of stuff. And you get to visit with other friends. You see them crossing the way here and there. And it's just a night of fun. And it's all about you.
Yep.
When Christmas comes along, it's not so much about that. It's not a couple months of planning. It's not, that's the fun of Halloween,
Right.
Your
It's
your
unique.
family doesn't have to be involved with it at all.
Right.
You get that, like, that night of freedom.
Yeah, we had this guy, bless his soul. I mean, he was annoying. He was a ham operator, or ham radio operator, and the certain channel on TV that ham radio would blow over, and you could hear it through the TV, hear him talking. And it got annoying. I mean, he was a blind man, but we would still go to his house, and he would pass out those wooden rulers. That's what he would pass out. But we're like, we're going. we're still
Well,
going.
yeah.
We're hitting every house. We're doing it.
You gotta go get your
You
wooden
know?
ruler.
I know it.
Have you heard about the potato house?
No.
No,
No, I don't know where it is. I heard of this on the news just a few weeks ago. It like went, I don't know what it went. Anyways, this lady started as a joke passing out. She ran out of candy one night, so she started just passing out potatoes, right? As just a joke. She was like, she told the kids, "You're like, I ran out of candy, but I have potatoes if you want one." And the kids were like, "Yeah, we'll take a potato."
It's free stuff.
And it became this thing, and now she can't even have candy. They don't want the candy. They want a potato from the potato lady. And she's like, "I don't know how this happened. I was just joking. I ran out of candy. I pulled up, I had a bag of potatoes right there. And I said, 'Well, I have a bag of potatoes. You want a potato?' And they were like, 'Yeah, I want the potato.'" She's like, "Kids are weird." But it's the same thing. Like, we had a house in Havana we used to hit. We called it the lottery house, because you never knew what you were going to get. This lady had a gigantic like pickle jar full of change. I'm sure like her pocket change went into it. Her husband's pocket change would go into it. And instead of getting candy every year, they would bring this pickle jar to the door. And they would literally, without even looking, just reach in and grab a handful and throw it in your bag or your pumpkin.
Cool.
And then you would run away to get to the nearest street light so you could count out your change. And you never knew what you were going to get. You could literally get like 50 cents worth of like pennies and some nickels, or you could hit the mother lode and get some freaking quarters and 50-cent pieces.
Right.
Holy cow. You were like, "This is awesome. I'm rich."
Yep.
We call it the
Yeah, I
lottery
was
house because you didn't know what you're going to win.
Well,
So
that's kid rich. You got
Yeah.
chocolate
Right?
and money.
back when you could use that and you're like $1 worth of change could you get you so much candy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
I remember the little corner store in Liberty, man. Bob and Eva Kirk, they passed away several years ago, and they had a little corner store gas station. And if you had $1, holy crap, the bag of candy you would come home with, a bottle of pop and a bag of candy, man. I mean, it was just, you were living in high heaven, man, as a kid.
Heck yeah. We had the Morris Phillips station here downtown Katy. Oh God, it was the place to go. Every kid went there after school because they, number one, had the best fountain drinks. They had the mix really thick. So you got a lot of syrup with it. So it was really good mix. So you could get a giant soda and a giant pickle for 75 cents. And then with your other 25 cents, you could get like a huge pocket full of like the fancy bubble gums of all the different flavors and chocolates and whatever else. And you had just enough left over for the tax at the end. And they were so used to the kids doing this that they didn't even come to the front anymore when we came in after school. You would just get your giant soda, which was usually a suicide. You just hit every one of them, your big pickle and your selection of candy that would bring it up to the $1. And you just slap your $1 down on the counter and say thanks on the way out. And there'd be money lined all the way up down the counter. Because they trusted us in a small town. We would do this, and then they would come out afterwards and gather everything up, go refill the pickles.
They didn't care. They didn't care. That's what it sounds like to me. They
sounds to me
enjoyed
like
it
they
so
were more
much.
about the kids than
Yeah.
anything.
Yep, that's what it sounded like. My wife said, apparently I'm too young for all that fun stuff.
Youngster.
It was awesome. I would, I kind of feel sorry for kids nowadays. They kind of miss out on some of this stuff. Or maybe I'm just sound old. I don't know.
They don't get off.
I
their
know.
phone. You can't have
I was
no
like-
fun on your phone.
When my daughter was old enough to drive, I was so shocked that she didn't want to go drive uptown. That was our freedom. The minute I had car
Everywhere.
keys, I was out of there. I wasn't going to stay at home.
You went cruising.
Uptown was where, you cruise. That's where you found out where the parties were, who was hanging out where, whose house was everybody going to be at later that night.
You wind up dying in a pasture around a bonfire because you're so freaking drunk. God, oh yeah.
Or you end up in the middle of the river when you can't swim. Mark.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember being in the middle of the river, but I did wake up on the other side of it.
Oh, on the other side of
remember-
it then.
I
Okay.
woke up on the other side of it.
we were partying out east of Coffeeville, me and a bunch of buddies and all that. We were camping, so we weren't leaving, but God, man, we were so drunk. And we wound up riding a oil pump, riding one of those. And then somehow my tent caught on fire. And I'm sitting there watching it burn, trying to figure out if it's burning. And I was like, dude, is my tent on fire? Yeah. Shit. So I ran over there, stomped it out. We wound up sleeping in a tent, big old hole in the side of it. Yeah, good times. A lot of good times.
Used to leave.
You know it's not a party until you set your tent on fire.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, a lot
Leave
of
early
fun.
on Saturday and spend all day playing pool and video games and eating cheeseburgers.
Yep.
'Cause You
Yep, I
didn't play
remember.
video games at home. You had to go play
Oh yeah.
with your quarters. So I'd go out with a handful
Yeah.
of quarters.
My
Go
wife
hit an
catching pneumonia.
arcade.
Yeah. See, even at the Kirk's store, they always had two games, in there. And you'd take $1 or whatever in there and get your quarters and play your games or whatever. But that's the only place you played games was there. You get you a pop or whatever. I remember, because it was the old like knee-high grapes or the orange sodas or whatever. And yeah, it was like 35 cents for a bottle. So you still had quite a bit of money to play with. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go in there on Halloween and Eva would keep the store open late for Halloween. And you'd go up to the candy counter, and she would let you pick whatever you wanted. And she would give it to you.
Oh, that's
Oh,
She was the
awesome.
sweetest lady. Yeah, she was the sweetest lady. And yeah, I mean, it was just something that we all look forward to
That's
Yeah,
as
awesome.
kids. And man, I didn't expect it to go on this long, but yeah, it's a good conversation.
Oh, speaking of candy,
We all
really
love
quick.
Halloween. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Talk
quick
about it
before I
all day.
forget. So we find so much candy the day after when we're cleaning up because the kids and the parents will sit there and pick through the candy and munch on their favorite while they're waiting in line. And the other candy a lot of the times gets tossed out onto the ground or into our flower beds, right?
I'm coming to your
We
house the
find-
day after.
We find so many Tootsie Rolls, right?
Oh, dude,
I love Tootsie
Yeah.
Rolls.
I do too.
So, well, a lot of people do, but not a lot of kids do. So, what we've
Right.
decided to do this year, we've teamed up with the Blue Star Mothers, and we're going to have an area by the waiting line for candy you don't want. It'll be like a
cool.
depository. So you can sort through your candy or you can go through your kids' candy and get out what you know that they're not going to have and throw it in this bin. And afterwards, we're going to donate it all to the Blue Star Mothers because they ship that candy overseas to our troops.
That's awesome.
Nice. I love
That
it.
is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is awesome.
So you'll know that that candy is going somewhere where it's going to be really appreciated. It's for
Yep.
a good cause. And maybe there won't be so much of it in my garden beds in the spring when I go to plant.
Well, you
I'm
know-
telling you.
you could grow a Tootsie Roll plant. That would be cool.
I could.
Yep.
I kind of already have one. They get pretty experimentative with where they put the candy. We find a lot of it shoved into the nooks of our trees.
Oh, nice.
And last year was a banner year. So somebody put a huge handful of those giant Tootsies, you know, the ones that are like
Oh
4
yeah.
or 5 inches long.
Yeah.
A handful of them was sitting underneath our skeleton flamingo. It looked like he'd cracked Tootsies. Yeah, just, I mean, they laid them all there just like they would have just naturally. Yeah. Frank is our flamingo, and apparently he had a too good of a night. Yeah. We were cleaning up the next morning, and initially what we do is we do a initial walkthrough and we pick up any lost stuff. We always find lost stuff, lost
Right.
costume parts, entire jack-o'-lanterns full of candy. You know, kids drop
Jeez.
everything, hair ties, and if there's anything really important. We get it up online as fast as we can so it can find its owner. But we pick up candy. So much candy gets dropped, which I don't actually mind too much because, yum. Stuff that we didn't have.
Yep.
Banana Laffy Taffies and Twizzlers and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But the bulk of it is Tootsie Rolls everywhere. People
See,
just
there's
chuck them like crazy.
There's a cool story about Tootsie Rolls. I don't know if you guys have heard it or not. It was in Korea during the Korean War, the battle for Chosin Reservoir, which is Marine Corps is a hugely famous battle. They ran out of food, but they all had Tootsie Rolls. And they were frozen because it's a cold bastard in Korea. It was like, when I was there, it was in February, it was like -15. And, they were all frozen. So they would put it up under their coat underneath, but that's what sustained them.
Oh,
the
wow.
Tootsie Rolls. So it's pretty cool story. I'm not the best storyteller, but
I bet they never ate Tootsie Rolls again.
oh, I
But they
bet
were
not.
sick of them.
I bet.
Ugh.
But that would be in their sea rats, because
Yeah.
like even now your MREs always have a sweet of some kind, either a candy bar or pound cake or something like that. And even the sea rats at the time had sweets in it, whether it be Tootsie Rolls or whatever, and they'd always have gum and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a cool. I always thought that was a cool story.
That is
about the
cool.
Tootsie Roll. So,
It's better than existing on broccoli or something. So
this is true.
I actually like broccoli. Raw.
I do too, but I don't think it really has the staying power that Tootsie Rolls
No.
have.
I mean, it might later.
Yeah, maybe.
Ew.
There's
You look like Frank.
Yes. Poor Frank.
Jess, man, thanks
Yeah.
for jumping on with us and
Absolutely.
sharing your stuff about the Nightmare on Bradley.
Well,
It
thanks
sounds
for
like you're
letting
doing
me.
awesome with it. Yeah, anytime. I mean, anytime you got anything going or whatever, you're more welcome.
Cool.
Yeah, but we were talking about it, and I figured, heck, you were on here, so we invite you and let you talk about it. And,
Yeah. Sorry it took me so long. I couldn't get
No,
anything to
no,
work.
no, it's fine.
No big deal. No big deal.
We've
at all.
always got time to wait on you.
Absolutely.
Aw, shucks. And we're on for next week, right? We're doing Halloween next week?
Yeah.
We're gonna do it the
Halloween's-
30th. I figure we're gonna do a big get together. I've got some of the Odd House guys coming on. I've got the invite out to all
Cool.
of them. I
That's
think
awesome.
I think Chad said he would come on. I think Sonny said he would come on. I'll shoot him an invite again towards next week. I'm gonna try to get my son on. Levi, he was on with us last week, which I still need to get that episode posted. I haven't posted it yet. I haven't even edited it yet for that. Yeah. Anyway. But
I might be traumatized for life.
he's got a video out of him playing one of the songs from Nightmare on Bradley. So I'm going to talk to him and see, or not Bradley, but Nightmare on or Nightmare Before Christmas.
For Christmas.
Yeah. So I'm going to see if he wants to jump on and play it for us.
Ooh, that'd be
Just
cool.
kinda,
Live entertainment.
live entertainment. I think Mark and I were talking earlier. I think we're going to try to do like an Edgar Allan Poe story, or I am. Mark's going to find something to read, and I think I'm going to pre-record it and just play it. But just kind of do it. Just kind of just get in the spirit of it and the spookiness, and just have fun with Halloween. So
Edgar Allan Poe is my favorite.
I love it.
That's how I
love
named my
Poe. I really
kid.
do. Is it
That's what Raven's named after of the
Really?
Raven.
the Raven? Yeah,
The Raven.
I love the Telltale Heart and the Cask of Amontillado. Those are two of my favorite stories.
No,
I have
we-
several of them memorized. I used
Really?
them for school. Yeah. Yeah, that's how Mike and I first met, we were best friends first before we ever got together and then got married. We were best friends. And the very first thing that we found out we had in common was that we both loved Edgar Allan Poe. So
Yep.
we figured Raven would be a perfect name for our daughter. So that's how she got her
Yep.
name.
I might I don't know. I might throw together a video to go along with the story.
That'd be cool.
You know, I mean, not an animation. I don't know animation, but maybe just like a picture video or something like that to go along with the story. I think it
That'd
might
be cool.
Cool.
Do we get to dress up?
If you want to dress up, dress up.
Yeah.
I'm good for it. You know, I mean,
I'm probably gonna be coming as crazy woman, because the 30th is literally gonna be the crunch day to get
Right.
everything out. So you guys are gonna be my nice break in the afternoon to
Right.
get it recorded.
We can do
So
that.
I'm probably gonna come in with like hair sticking everywhere
Hey.
and like a twitchy eye and
Well,
yeah.
bring
I
yourself.
will
Mad.
probably I will
adult
probably have already
beverage.
been electrocuted. So I'll probably have this like yeah.
Hey, let's do
Bride
it.
of Frankenstein.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, let's do it. Anyway, I mean, we're gonna wrap up here, but Jess, again, thanks for jumping on real quick. Just at a moment's
Yeah.
notice, we do appreciate it.
Thanks.
glad you can
Thanks
share.
for having me.
Yeah, anytime. My wife said that's what I look like every day. But yeah, folks, keep an eye out. Again, I've got to get all these episodes out, and I don't know, I just haven't done it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got this evening. Mark, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, folks, keep an eye out next week. We've got 2 shows next week, and then the next Sunday would be October 30th. We're going to record a Halloween episode so we can get it uploaded for Halloween. You can go out and listen to it during, your trick-or-treating time with your kids. I mean, hopefully, we don't really have a big issue with language or anything on here. We try to keep it friendly, family friendly in case you listen around your kids. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. And that way you guys can have fun and listen to some stories, because I think that's the biggest thing. We're going to share some classics. We're going to talk about personal experiences and just have fun with it, just hang out. With that being said, folks, we thanks again. We thank you again for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you next episode.
Good night.